obviously there's plenty to unpack from Saturday's game. We'll hit those final 10 seconds, but a lot led up to that game, both good and bad. Offensively, again, kind of moments of brilliance. You started off with that great touchdown drive. Jesper had the 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes, and then other moments where it seemed like either a little out of sync or Chad just a touch off. I mean, what were you seeing, and how did Princeton kind of get it back for the final, say, 20 minutes of that game?
Yeah, I thought we really executed offensively well. We only had 10 drives. We scored touchdowns on 6 of them. We had one where there was a downs. Obviously, there's a play in the end zone that, was, could have went either way. We had one where we fumbled, missed a block, missed an assignment, led to a fumble as we were moving the ball. But against that defense, to score touchdowns on 60% of your drives, that's pretty good.
Defensively, we've kind of talked about it, what you've gone through. And again, you lose 2 more guys. And, what I found so interesting was some guys that maybe haven't had as many opportunities that are jumping in and playing games that, maybe they never even imagined they could play. And the guy I want to point to is Nico Bayless, who, was way on the depth chart, at the start of the season. And he comes in when Surace gets hurt. And I thought maybe made 2 or 3 of the biggest defensive plays of the game.
Yeah, it's why you coach everybody. And Nico's been a really solid special teams player for us the last 2 years. And he goes out, practices hard every day, gets better every day, and all it takes is opportunity. And for him to have, I think, 2 tackles for a loss, 5 or 6 tackles, and really was a guy who, for not playing, he was one of the guys that did his responsibilities all game, and that led to some of the things he did. And I was really, really pleased with how he stepped up. And we're going to need to get 11 guys doing what he did, playing hard and playing their responsibilities to be better than what we were.
The one area where Penn got you that other teams haven't this season was in the run game, and obviously this is going to factor into this week's game against Yale. What did you see on film that, okay, this is where we have to get better?
Yeah, we didn't tackle well. And
which is the first time this season that we saw that.
Yeah, you start seeing glimpses of it in the second half of Harvard and Cornell, glimpses. This was the first time it really became a major issue, and we really got to go back to basics, tackle well. And the thing that hurts the most, we got guys that have been playing trying to do too much. And they're not playing their responsibilities, trying to do too much. And then we have some young guys that are making young guy mistakes, and we got to tighten the ship down and really do a great job with the game plan. And Penn presents a ton of problems. They're reading guys out, but Yale does too.
Right.
And I'm sure when we play Dartmouth, they're another well-coached team. They do too. So it doesn't get easier down the road. What we have to do is get better as these guys get more experience. And then the veteran guys have to play their responsibilities. And, they pressed a little. They tried to do something that was uncharacteristic. They tremendous effort. We forced 4 fumbles, got on 2 of them. We did some things really well, but we got to get stops. We got to get off the field better. And part of that is some of those tackles that 4-yard gains turned into 6-7, which wasn't good.
All that being said, Chad Kanoff gets the ball with 70, 80 seconds left and puts together a brilliant drive, spreads the ball around really, to a number of guys. And then that last play, you look back on it, where are you right now on the way that ended?
Yeah, obviously, by the time I got my backpack to go to the press conference, I pick up my phone and my phone is buzzing with information that it was a missed call. You have a unbelievably clear shot. My blood pressure rises to about 300 as I get to the press conference because, the only thing in sports you want it to be, you want fairness. You want it to be a fair result. And, officials are going to make mistakes. Things are going to happen. But, man, at the end of the day, you look at a team that fought and scrapped and did everything possible to win. That gets taken away. You talk about a quarterback. Every quarterback great quarterback we've had have had their signature moments. Bob Holly, Jason, Dougie Butler,
Quinn,
Quinn, Jeff Terrell. I mean,
right.
You look at the historic great, and the receivers, the Roman Wilson catches I've been a part of, and they don't even get to have their signature moment. But at the end of the day, you move forward. You won that game. Princeton's the #1 school in the world. I got my degree here. 41. I don't know if we would have made the extra point, is greater than 38. At the Wharton Undergraduate Trade School, 41 is greater than 38. Like, at the end of the day, you know what the score is. So you can post it in the standings. You can do this. We know where we are. We know what we did. We know what we accomplished. We didn't get to celebrate it. At some point in reunions, I'll bring out confetti. I'll have, Carlson reenact, the catch. It was a catch. I mean, his right foot was in, his left foot was in, his hip was in, his elbow was in. There was like 5 body parts that were in as he completed it. And, when I went back and looked at you see it on all kinds of angles and replays. Not only do you see it with your own eyes, right? You see it in the Princeton players who were there and saw it. You see it in the opponent players who were, holding their heads. The official that's standing there does this. For people that were down there that saw it, it was an amazing feeling and an amazing accomplishment, and it got taken away. That moment got taken away, but in our hearts, and what the result is, you move forward, and as I told the guys, we don't even put an asterisk. We know where we are as a team and what we accomplished, and we got to move forward and go up against Yale.
So you get to Yale now, and what this Yale team has done is a little similar to what you guys were doing last year. Senior-laden defense, coming to this weekend, #1 overall, total defense, scoring defense, rushing defense. I mean, those were the categories you dominated last year. And, they've got the pieces that Matthew Upplinger with the, 9.5 sacks and tackles, linebacker and safety. I mean, this looks like a defense that is going to cause, and they've caused it to everybody this season, major issues.
Yeah, they cause havoc. I mean, it is, as a coach and you watch them and how they play, and if you're a fan and you've been following Princeton football, you've seen 22, Opplinger. You've seen him for 4 years. So it's not surprising that he is an unbelievable player. And when you see 23, you've been seeing it. He's a 5th-year guy. You've been seeing it for year in, year out with that 96. You've been seeing their safeties. You've been seeing their 5th-year senior corner. And they're really not only playing individually at a high level, they're playing collectively as a group at this unbelievable level. And, teams aren't, they're struggling to get 200 yards on them. They got 33 sacks. Last week they allowed 40, or on the year they're allowing 49% pass completion percentage. Last week, I think at one point, Brown was 8 for like 34, passing the ball. So it's not just them playing, when you look at the All-Ivy team, on defense, who don't they nominate? It's one guy after another, and they're playing at that level, and it's really, a challenge. It's going to be a great challenge for our offense that is, had its moments of playing very well, at times, and to see if we're able to meet this great challenge that we have in front of us.
You witnessed firsthand what a freshman running back can do with a real breakout season. I mean, we've seen good seasons, but nothing like what Chuck DeBillio did in 2011 until this year, and what Zane Dudek is doing for Yale. Obviously losing Salter hurts because they had this great 1-2 punch, but he looks like somebody who can just take the load, and I'm sure that's part of the plan for the next 2 weeks. But what makes him special?
Yeah, there's a play. You try to, who is this guy like? And there's a play in the Columbia game where the defensive tackle comes in almost unimpeded. And he is 1.5 yards away, and he makes a jump cut, a full yard away. Guy whiffs. And then he goes forward, and then the defensive end's coming in, makes a jump cut the other way, and then accelerates for a 40-yard run. That's like Barry Sanders. I mean, this guy could play on any team in the country and be unbelievably successful. You don't see that type of play. And it wasn't just the Columbia game. You see it every single week that, it looks like he has no room to run, and he makes an unbelievable run. And his vision and his balance And for a freshman, he pass protects, he catches the ball. You know, he doesn't look like he makes mental assignment errors. I mean, he is a really, really high-level player, not just as a runner, but in everything he's doing, and is really, you know, he's an elite player.